SSMI Asia TV. Joining with us today is a unique personality with abundance of experience in multiple domains and multiple industries, especially in Fortune 500 companies. He's also popularly known as the Process Whisperer. All the way from USA, Dr. Harry.
Thanks,
Hi, Dave.
Thanks.
It's good to have you here.
You know, a lot of cases, it's all about the journey. In this case, it's about the destination. It's good to be back in Sri Lanka.
Good to have you in our show.
Thank you.
So, Dave, having a military background for 23 years, what motivated you to pursue Lean Six Sigma?
Well, as a Navy pilot, there was always some problems encountered. When I got out of the Navy, I went and got my project management professional certification, and I found out that when I was doing projects, there was an awful lot of problems to be solved. So as I moved from KPMG Consulting to Northrop Grumman, I was encountering the projects that had problems, and I started my Six Sigma Green Belt journey to Black Belt to Expert Trainer and started teaching classes, and I found out that every project has some problems, and it's good to solve those as quickly as possible so that you can complete the project. So
awesome. So you mentioned that you have worked in several Fortune 500 companies and seen the success stories. How do you think Lean Six Sigma has helped American companies grow?
Well, certainly it starts with Dr. Mikel Harry back at Motorola, but then GE and Jack Welch put it on the map with the billions of dollars saved by GE. And when I worked at KPMG Consulting, we had a lot of Navy contracts. The Navy was using it. Then I Northrop Grumman was able to solve a lot of problems with Northrop Grumman. And so I worked with Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, a lot of defense companies, and come to find out that they all have problems, and solving those problems is critical, and having everybody be able to solve the problems, not only the black belts or the leaders at the top, but to have a problem-solving culture was key.
That's great. Yes. So how do you think Asian companies can benefit from Lean Six Sigma based on your experience?
Well, in my experience, I think that the Lean Six Sigma teaches respect for people. It teaches process, and that everybody becomes a problem solver. And so in some companies in Asia, you've got the top-down command and control style. And I think that Lean Six Sigma will teach the companies about the organizational culture so that everybody becomes a problem solver. That problems originate at the bottom, problems are solved at the bottom. It's not only for the people at the top to solve. And as Asia becomes more mature, you're going to find that problem-solving culture that'll actually permeate, and you'll find the workers actually solving and finding the problems, which will be key for Asia emerging and being competitive in the world.
That's wonderful insights, Dave. And I'm sure you would have faced a lot of challenges when implementing Lean Six Sigma in American companies. Thinking about the Asian context, what new challenges do you see in terms of implementation of Lean Six Sigma?
Again, I think the cultural aspect of Lean Six Sigma is very, very important. The fact that you've got one or two black belts embedded is not as important as having a problem-solving culture. And I think that once the Asian companies embrace that and start treating the employees with more respect and having the employees part of the problem-solving culture, I think will absolutely be key. And it's going to be hard to stop Asia once that turns around, and I think it'll grow.
And what kind of plans, in the perspective of Lean Six Sigma, what kind of plans do you suggest for Sri Lanka?
I know that Sri Lanka has a tremendous workforce. There's not a whole lot of manufacturing here. There's some, but I think as Sri Lanka grows, we're going to look towards more service industry and leading edge service industry like artificial intelligence. There's a lot of software development that could be taking place within the country, and it could become a leader in things like software development, big data management, and I think that they will be able to edge out the world without using a lot of natural resources to actually become a leader using Six Sigma, in the future.
So how do you think Lean Six Sigma can help Sri Lanka grow?
Oh, absolutely. So, if you can use Lean Six Sigma to reduce the variation and Lean to eliminate the waste and things like kata to become daily problem solvers, I think it's going to be a force that's going to be hard to reckon with, because I think Sri Lanka using Lean Six Sigma in the industries will really take off. And I think that the Six Sigma Management Institute is right on the leading edge of that. And I'm really proud that you're that you're training so many green belts and black belts in Sri Lanka to actually make a difference.
Thank you so much, Jay. Taking things to a lighter note, so I've observed you had several encounters with our former Defence Secretary and also most potentially the next President, His Excellency Gotabaya Rajapaksa. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience with him?
I've had a lot of conversations, as you know. We go back 35, 36 years, and when Gotabaya Rajapaksa was a Army captain, we became friends in the Indian Staff Force. And over the years, he's sent me invitations to come to Sri Lanka and take tours, and we've had recent discussions about subjects such as artificial intelligence. My take is that he's a real visionary. He's not thinking short term. He's not looking at just putting band-aids on the problem. He's looking at the long-term vision of how to actually change the efficiency and cost reduction and delivery to actually make the Sri Lankan manufacturers and service companies leading edge. And I think he's really got a strong vision. And I noticed in his acceptance speech that he talked a lot about technology, innovation, and efficiencies, and I think that he's going to bring that into the campaign and maybe into the presidency.
Wonderful. And also, I've noticed, and you've told me, so many encounters with our Dr. Mikel J Harry, the Chief Architect of Six Sigma. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience with him?
Well, other than sharing the last name, we're not physically related. But I've met him at several conferences. He's autographed books. He's a very, very frank and candid individual. He and I both share military backgrounds. He tells it like it is, and I think that he's just what Six Sigma needed. He's one of the godfathers of Six Sigma, and just knowing him was just perfect. And he always autographs his book to me as to my brother, which I thought was really heartwarming, and he passed way too sudden. He was a giver to the end, and I just enjoyed listening to his webinars, and I'm glad that you're carrying his memory forward.
So tell me one of these encounters that you actually will never forget, one of the significant moments that you had with him.
Well, the boots, and the cowboy boots, and the hat, and as I met him at conferences, he was unforgettable. And I know that he didn't actually deal with the normal ways of doing things. He was innovative. He was a visionary, and I think that in a lot of cases he did it the right way, and he did it his way, and he was an action guy. So visionary in actually making the Six Sigma Management Institute what it is, and actually broadening it all over the world. I think it was just Michael Harry's style.
That was an interesting conversation, Dave. We learned a lot, and thank you so much for joining with us with lots of insights. So until we meet next time.
I hope to come back and come to your graduation ceremony.
Yes.
This is a great job.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.